The second hardest job after ours is being the family of a soldier. I mean, not only do you have your everyday life to deal with, but you have to deal with that fact that that loved one is in danger, and knowing they're in danger, and you don't know if you're ever going to see or hear from them again until either they walk through the door or, you know, that black Cadillac pulls up and the chaplain steps out of it. I may be the one with the PTSD, but my family has to deal with the repercussions of my PTSD. My wife had to get drug out of bed and pushed under the bed because I was having a flashback and thought insurgents were coming through the door. My children had to see my angry outbursts and watch me get drunk and wonder why Dad's so angry and drunk all the time. It's because I was trying to escape reality.
We put up our Christmas tree a few weeks ago, and Ian actually asked if we could leave it up and leave the lights on so that Daddy can find his way home. Because I think he thinks he's lost.
When our nation goes to war, there are a variety of mental health issues, and many of those issues aren't exactly mental health diagnoses. There's a great deal of stress placed, of course, on the people serving in war, but their families serve with them.
It was always harder, I always felt it harder on the families because the families have to keep going on minus the soldier.
Most of the guys here are active duty and have multiple deployments, 3, 4, 5, 6 deployments. So a 6-year-old child may, have seen their parent for a few months.
Listen, son, do you know what today is?
Thursday?
Well, yes, it is Thursday, but it's also that day we talked about. Remember, the day I have to go?
Oh, yeah. Daddy's gotta go away for lots and lots of days, right?
Military children serve alongside with their parents. If you ask people who are deployed what they think about those children.
I deployed early on, 2003 through 2004, and my daughter was 7 at the time.
This picture is me and my dad right when he got back from Iraq, and then my mom told me that he had to go back. That was really tough because I didn't want to say goodbye to him again after he already came back, because I love my dad so much and I would do anything to have him there all the time. So that was probably the hardest thing for me because I just wanted him to stay there, and I wanted to do so much with him. I wanted to show him my stuff, everything I've learned and stuff, and it was just really hard to say goodbye to him again.
And so when you hear 5 or 6, deployments, this has never gone on before. And we're talking year-long and in the beginning, 15-month-long deployments.
My mom actually kept a lot of it to herself. She didn't really cry or anything in front of me because she didn't want me to get upset because I was already really upset about it.
I will never forget the day that we were actually at the grocery store, and an Air Force captain walks in, and Ian thought it was my husband. I mean, he goes running over to him. He's like, "Daddy, Daddy," and he looks at him, and this captain looks down at him, and he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not your daddy."
How long is that going to last for those children, and what consequences will it have?
When he says things to me like, "I'm just sad, I want him home," I don't know how to respond other than "me too." Because I do too. This is my son, and I'm his mother. I'm supposed to protect him. That's my job.
Or is this a disruption that diverted their development a little bit, and now they're kind of off course, and 10 years down the road or 20 years down the road, we're going to see much more notable problems?
We've got 10 young people, and 4 of them have parents who are in the military, and the rest of them have some questions for them. So who would like to be the first person to ask a question of either Darren or Marquise or Chloe or Lou?
What's the worst part when your parents are away? What's the worst part of it?
If you wrote a letter and we wrote back and we didn't hear from them for a while, kind of made me worry because I didn't know what was happening to them.
And you sometimes worry about them, if they're still over there, or if there's somewhere else and you don't know it.
And what, stay with it here. What do you do when you are worried about your mom?
I pray for her, I call her, she's all right.
Would people know, I mean, sure, they might see you praying or something, but would people know that you're worried about your mom, like your classmates? Would they have known that, man, Marquis really worried about his mom?
No.
We're really asking so much more of these families than we ever had, and I think in our country's history. It's not only just the length of the conflicts that have been going on. It's also the fact that never in our country's history have so few been asked to do so much.
These children were experiencing post-traumatic stress in relation to events that they were not personally on site to see.
So going to war is a much bigger issue than simply identifying a small group of people who come back who might have a certain diagnosis like PTSD. And to understand it and to approach it, we need a public health approach, not just a clinical approach in which we diagnose a certain illness, find those people who have it,